One question I get asked all the time that I've never seen anybody really address on YouTube is how do you clean your paintbrushes when you're working on a painting? And this is actually a really important question. So in this video, allow me to answer. I'm gonna show you 3 ways that I clean my paintbrushes while painting, and I'm gonna show you why it matters so that way you can see if it's best for you. So let's get started. Hey, all you beautiful and creative people. My name's Wild to help you become bigger and better with your painting and creative adventures. If this is your first time here, need help with tips, tricks, how-tos, or any painting tutorial, or just general inspiration, hey, that's what I'm here for. Do me a favor and hit that big red subscribe button down below and tick that bell so you know when my videos go live for you. Can't believe I nailed that on the first take. I'm getting better at this. When it comes to cleaning my brushes while painting, I use 3 different techniques or strategies, if you will. Number 1 is tapping my brush off on my mixing palette. When I tap my brush off on my mixing palette, it's not really cleaning my brush as more as it is redistributing the paint across my brush evenly, which means the paint that's on the canvas may be pulled up or concentrated in one spot. Not really appealing for what I'm trying to do. So what I like to do is take my brush back to my mixing palette on a clean spot and kind of tap it in so everything gets even across the brush. So when I go back to my canvas, I can redistribute the paint in proper ways. I generally use this for when I have to make shapes or lay my land for my foundation of my landscape. But I also like to use this technique a lot when I have to make hills and grassy knolls look more smooth or less detailed in the background. So that way everything just looks a little blurry but smooth overall, so it's not pulling too much attention across. And like we said, if you have too much paint in one part of your canvas, tap on that particular section and go to your mixing palette that's in a clean spot and tap in there so that way it evens out and some of that paint will remain on the mixing palette, allowing you to go back and redistribute the correct amount of paint. So this way you're not gonna have huge globs of paint. Cleaning method number 2, I call the wipe off method. And you don't see this when I'm doing my painting tutorials because it's out of frame. Below my canvas and below my easel is paper towels that are bungee cord from leg to leg. And when I'm painting generally my sky or clouds or anything like trees where I have to put layers on top of layers where I get a lot of paint on top of paint, which leads to contamination, which then leads to dull colors, which a lot of you hate, or mud mixing, I will take my paintbrush and I will go across the paper towels and I will wipe off all the excess or contaminated paint. So that way when I go back to my mixing palette, I have pretty much a clean brush. So that way I get rich colors to reapply back on top of my canvas. And like I said, this is a powerful technique for when you have to make clouds because it contaminates with that blue leading to dull colors. Or when you have to put highlights on top of trees or bushes because again, you're not gonna change the color consistency and you're not gonna really dull out those highlights. Very simple to do. Put your paint on, if it gets contaminated, wipe it across the paper towels, reload your brush and go back at it. Very quick and fast way to make sure your colors will stay true. The last technique you should all be familiar with because it's straight from the Bob Ross technique where I use the beater rack. When my paintbrush is too loaded or too contaminated, or I have to switch colors from light to dark or dark to light, I will take my paintbrush, put it in odorless thinner, make sure it gets a nice dousing of that, run it across the can, then take it to my waste bin, which has my beater rack inside of it, and beat off. Yes, I beat off constantly. I think the ladies knew that. From there, I do something a lot of people don't do, which I recommend. I will take my paintbrush and put it inside of a junk towel that I bought from like a big discount store, and I'll just kind of squeeze and pull through. And this makes sure that my paintbrush is extra clean. A lot of times when people beat off the brush, they'll go right back to the canvas and you'll sometimes get thinner on top of your canvas, which can lead to pooling or it can lead to weak paint adhesions. Or if you have too much, you'll see it actually dribble down your canvas, which we don't want. So get yourself like a basic junk towel, which I just hang right here off the base of my easel. And I literally just put the brush on here, rub it in, or I'll put it in here and squeeze the paintbrush through. And now I know I have a completely clean brush. I mean, look at my towel here. It looks like some kind of Jackson Pollock painting. I'm so creative. No one understands my art. When I'm painting, those are the 3 techniques I use to clean my brushes, and they work fantastic for me. And now you know why I clean my brushes in that way, which is gonna be powerful for you, so that way you can see if that'll work for you in your painting process. Now that's not it. I also do 2 more steps after I'm done cleaning my brushes for when I've completed painting for the day or completed a painting overall, which I recommend you do. If you're going to paint the next day or in a couple of days, I really recommend using the Master Brush Cleaner, which is gonna really pull all the rest of that pigment and paint and binder out of your brushes and condition it slightly for the next time you're going to paint. If you don't think you're gonna paint for a long amount of time, a couple of days, like long days, weeks, or even months, I would recommend using a soap conditioner so that way it gets really deep inside those bristles, conditions it, and make sure it leaves a little bit of that conditioner on the brush so that way it'll stay soft and it won't be brittle. So that way your paintbrushes will last you a long time. The 2 products I'm gonna recommend, I've done videos on, and guess what? I'm gonna put them over to the side here, and I recommend you check them out because they're great products to have and tools to have in your painting tool bag. Really recommend them. Hope this painting was helpful to you because I get this question all the time in my comments. Hope you guys continue your painting adventures. Good luck and stay safe, and of course, peace.